I wanted to say goodbye. Someone out there told me to stay right here. They told me my mission in life is not over. So now I'm here to say hello again. I wanted to say goodbye. I wanted to die. Now hello. Humans might hate you, but you possess the powers of the universe. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? You're good? It's nice to see all of your faces here. Thank you for coming out on a Saturday. I'm gonna sing one of my favorite songs for you. Dream of a land my soul is from. I hear a hand stroke on a drum. Shades of delight, cocoa hues, rich as the night, Afro blues. Elegant boy became beautiful girl, dancing for joy, delicate world, shades of delight, cocoa hues, rich as the night, Afro blues. My bags in a hurry. I tried to forget it all, but my ghosts followed me. that just created a storm. Violent was the end. Now here I am again, facing those old problems. Now the memories haunt me. Haunt me. Haunt me. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Things ain't what they used to be. No. Gave me a reason to stay. Hopefully I won't go away. But if I do, don't worry. I cannot sleep dreaming about you. Makes me weep like a baby. Running away, crawling away from you. You are the reason. I sing. to a rabbit hole and came out a new form. Now I see my path, my skin peels back, don't reveal my true color. I had to let go of all my control. I had to let go to be me. Oh no. I had to let go. To be me. Oh no. This is my last one. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna take a moment to collect myself, and then we're gonna do some questions. If you guys have any questions, we'll get into that in a second. Stick around 3, 4, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Talk about it. Hey, everyone. Thanks for sticking around.
All right. Well, again, thank you all for coming out. My name is Ryan Austin Dennis. I co-curate the Black Life series with Chika Okoye.
Black Life.
Yeah, so also, after all of this conversation happens, there's more posters. Take the flyers. Please sign up for our newsletter, because the more you sign up for the newsletter, the stronger this thing becomes, and it grows, and it'll be beautiful. And I love this. This is like an audience I want to see every single time. So please. But yeah, so, we're going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, if you want to know more about how to support me, after, you can come and find me. After. Cool. Well, my Venmo is the same as my Instagram, very easy, at Davia Spain, all one word, all lower caps. And if you don't have Venmo, ask me about Cash App, ask me about PayPal, ask me about wire transfer, ask me about Okay, cool. Do we want to get into the questions? Cool.
Yeah, so first question, process. Tell me your process around developing this album, and also just your collaborator, too. I want to know how y'all met,
I know, Peekaboo, isn't she amazing? Give it up one more time for Peekaboo. Okay, how did I get started? I guess I wrote this piece of music to be a soundtrack to a theater and film piece that I have plans to develop as well. And I think I was like, I'm gonna develop it all at the same time, but I soon found out, that it takes time to just do the music. So I've just been focusing really hard on the music. And then I knew Peekaboo. How did we meet? We met at Aunt Charlie's, no? We met at Aunt Charlie's, the OG stomping ground of the performing arts in San Francisco, queer performing arts. If you don't know Aunt Charlie's, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I just knew that I wanted to work with Peekaboo. I'd seen her play one time with Tyler Holmes, who's in the house. And I was like, oh, who's this cellist? Oh my gosh. And I knew that I wanted there to be some instrumentation. So I impromptu asked her to be on a track. And then it was the same trip here to the Bay that I did a show where you told me about doing this show. And then I was like, oh, well, we're already working together, so why not you? Do you want to be part of this show? So yeah, do you want to say anything?
I'm better at answering a question.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's just open it up. Anyone have any questions? Raise your hand, and just shout, I guess. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Hi. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
I was thinking about the context of being a Black trans woman in the Bay Area, and if you could give some of your stories of how those experiences shaped this work and how like your identity kind of plays into this a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so if you will, I'll give you like the gist of like the story. Do y'all know Atlantis, that really terrible but kind of great cartoon from the 2000s? So the piece is supposed to be like a reverse Atlantis where this character is sent back to Earth to tell humans how they're about to die. And I really just felt like I wanted to talk about my experience, but not from a like straightforward, like I'm a trans woman, but really talk about like how it feels to be alienated and to feel like I have information that is pertinent to everyone's lives, but no one really wants to listen to me or listen to us as trans people, black trans people, and how people like hate us actually, and when we actually have the answers to how people will like ultimately be happier. And so I wanted to write about that, but not just straightforward talk about being trans, just because a lot of the times I think that there's a lot of stereotypes that go into when people automatically think trans, or like they hear trans, they automatically already have this set idea of who I'm supposed to be, and like I'm supposed to be like struggling and like sad. Like it's like like people can only see me as tragic. And I wanted a way to like spin myself as this savior, or like not a savior obviously, but like someone who's going to help, like has something to give to society. Does that answer your question?
Anything else?
Hello, thank you so much for this
Hi.
performance.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
such a talented performer. This was amazing.
Thank you.
I am just curious about the technology.
Yeah.
You have this cool thing on your microphone, and I'm just curious, like, what is that? How does it work? What were you doing?
So that is a Voice Live Touch 2 TC Helicon, if anyone's really trying to get into the nerdiness of it. And what it does basically, it allows me to loop, and it gives me a whole range of vocal effects. So there's like, I think there's like 500, 600 vocal effects that you can individually tweak each one. So you can set like presets. So you just press a button, and then it's like for the song. And then you have all your songs like preset, so you already know what you're gonna do, and then you can change it live. So it's like you have a lot of room to play with, like I want to turn it on and then turn it off and then do all of this stuff. So you saw me kind of like focusing in on that, and like that's part of that. Yeah. Nerdy, music nerdy stuff.
Big fan.
Oh, thank you. Same, big fan.
My number one concern with music is always arrangement. So the songs, I was hearing a lot of wonderful sounds. How did you produce them? Like I was hearing harp, I was hearing all of these different,
Yeah.
are they organic? Did you do it
Yes.
digitally?
Being that I wanted it to feel somewhat like a soundtrack, I wanted there to be a lot of organic sounds in it that I then manipulated. So I mean, honestly, there's this like website called Splice where you can type in a sound that you want to hear, and then like hundreds of that, like recording of that pop up. And so I was just like mining through and then recording some of my own stuff and then mixing it in. And what I've collaborated with like 4 different producers. So for some of the tracks, I produced something and then sent it to a friend, and then they would work on it and then send it back, and I would give notes. Some of it was purely me, and then some of it was purely someone else. And then with Peekaboo, I kind of just came over one day and I was like, I want this, this, and this. Can you do it? And then they would just like do something and be like, that, you know? So it kind of just like happened very organically. And even with how we created what we did today live, I was like, oh, do that, you know? So it kind of just happened organically, yeah. Do you want to say anything about that?
My process, besides the getting together and recording on the spot, and pulling things, and giving them ideas to take home and take to other producers, it was a lot of listening. So I got sent over tracks, and I would just listen every day and kind of just hear what I could add to that live. And I'm working off of just a loop pedal and kind of like an effects pedal as well. So I just would be in my room with the music going and trying to figure out where I could add to this, listening to their vocals, and also thinking about like their movement, what that could be on stage, or the emotions, and just hopefully that came through live, just adding to that. So it really is like a listening, looking around, trying to grab something from the air and produce it through the cellos. So yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Davia.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I am very happy to see you. I
It's good to
work
see you.
with you,
Yes.
and I think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I would not expect any less from you. This was really
Thank
amazing.
you.
Now, for the question, I wanted to know what inspired you, or if there's any person, like a musician, that you get inspired from, that you are, having your inspiration from it. That's all the question I have to do.
I'm like all inspirations are just musicians. I'll go with all the inspirations. So I was sonically, I was inspired a lot by the work that Flying Lotus does. If anyone knows, because they do a lot of like electronic mixed with chamber music mixed with jazz, like just they kind of like do an amalgamation of everything. And I've been really inspired. And I think the last big piece that I created, I used a lot of their music, and then I was like, oh, I wish that this was my music so that I could like put it out as my own. And so then I was like, you know what, I could just make music and then do it the way that I want to do it. And so then I set out on that journey. So I let music be the starting point for the piece. But I mean, inspirations, I'm inspired by Marvin Gaye. I'm inspired by, so many people, like jazz musicians, lots of jazz musicians, Miles Davis, Robert Glasper, Erykah Badu. But ultimately, I think thematically, I'm inspired by like climate change a lot and like impending doom and the effects that it has on humans' bodies and like the effects that has on like a whole group of people's bodies. And like me, I was having experiences where I would like talk to people within the same week and everyone was kind of going through the same thing at the same time, where like all of my friends like couldn't get out of bed this week, or everyone was going through like different cycles at the same time. And then I was like, this has to do with our environment, and this has to do with like changes that are happening and how it's like physically affecting our bodies on a chemical level. So I was inspired by that and wanted to go off of that. That's like kind of one of the underlying themes. And then transformation always, because like trans, but like, but yeah.
Let's do 3 more questions.
Davia.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm in my feelings. So I saw you got interviewed by the East Bay Express.
I did, yes.
And you brought something up that's lately I've been channeling, and I want you to talk about how important it felt for you to talk to your inner child, to listen to your inner child, because I feel like as queer people, we have whole different like familial relationships, and it's up to us sometimes to be our own guider, and like listen to our past selves. I want to know what listening to your inner child meant like for you to create this album. How were you able to create that space? What did that do for you? How important do you think for us as queer people it is to, make space for that and really heal all this like generational and like just so much that we'd hold in, and how important it is for us to speak to ourselves kind of as elders, you know? And will you be my mother? I used to be your daddy, but now I want you to be my mother.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, thanks.
I think, so context for the interview where I talked about inner child work, I brought up like non-linear time patterns and how there are cultures throughout the world that believe that the past, the present, and the future are happening concurrently. And with that in mind, you can contact the past and the future now, and that can be a mode of power and a way to not only heal the past and be healed from the past and like draw inspiration from the past, but also pull in what you want into the present from the future. And I think so often we talk about how like, oh, I'm healing my inner child, but a lot of the times I find that I'm healed from my inner child. Like my inner child has the innocence that I want, and like me going back to that is more important than me trying to like project onto my inner child, if that makes sense. And so I think, well, as a child, I would line up my Beanie Babies and dolls and like sing, and I had like I had a little microphone and like speaker thing, and I would just like sing and like do shows. And then I think, you know, it's like easy to let go of that, and I wanted to get back to that, and so I think just returning back to making music, and like I used to write songs when I was like 10, you know, and I wanted to start making songs again because that was a big outlet for me as a child, and so I was like, you know, that worked in the past, so let me put myself into that. After having done dance and theater mainly, and I was like, I want to go back to music. So does that answer? Yeah? Cool. Cool. Any more? Like one more? One more? Yeah.
Okay, come in. Was it you or who is it?
Aleta?
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Good.
Good. I see you too, Peekaboo. I guess one question that I have for you, Davia, is as a Black trans female artist that combines electronic and the classical, as well as having a very unique lens in viewing an Afrocentric future, what is the impact that you overall as an artist and human being want to leave behind for the rest of the world?
I would say to follow your dreams and like really though like listen to what what you wanted to do in the past. Like you may think that it's silly, or like you may have been taught to think that it's silly to want those things, but just go for it, because like we have like 30 years left on Earth or something. Like human civilization is gonna end in yeah. Did no one else read that? So it's like we have like 30 years to like live lives, so why not? And like on a more serious note, for trans women and for trans people, like the average life expectancy is super low, so it's like we don't really have time to waste in a way. So yeah, I would just say live your truth and don't let the conventions of society poison your creativity. Last one, Susanna. Okay, the album is being mixed and mastered. So you will get it online soon. It's forthcoming. AKA I don't have a date yet, but it'll be online. So if you want to follow, just follow Instagram, and that's where I'll post it. Yay, thank you guys for coming.
All right.
Give it up for Ryan Austin one more time, and Chico.
And Chico. All right. Also, our next event is July 20th. It's going to be Ra Malika Imhotep, and she is going to be doing a performative lecture based on the work of Toni Morrison. So please come out, and you'll probably hear more about it. Thank you.